School refusal. School can be a very challenging environment for autistic young people. The environment can be noisy, bright, and overwhelming. School involves lots of demanding and often confusing social interaction. School can also involve lots of uncertainty and changes. There's always a risk of getting things wrong and making mistakes. And sometimes other things can be wrong. Sometimes a young person will refuse to go to school.
No!
This seems to be more common amongst autistic young people. 1 or 2 days off may not seem to be much of a problem. But very quickly this can develop into longer periods of time, and the young person can end up right out of education. One way to help is by listening. An autistic young person who is refusing to go to school is likely to be very anxious, although some try to hide their anxiety with anger or even calmness. It's important to listen very carefully to try to find out what is making them anxious. It can help to give lots of opportunities and use different ways to communicate. It may help to offer text messaging as a way of communicating. Perhaps drawing symbols or acting out situations with objects. An autistic young person who is struggling to communicate about what the problem is may sometimes need a supportive adult to offer suggestions or make guesses to help them start the conversation. But it is very important to keep checking back with the autistic young person to avoid misunderstanding. There are lots of ways to listen, and it can help to try some different approaches. While trying to help, it is sensible, in most cases, to make home boring. It's important not to punish an autistic young person who is struggling to go to school. Making them feel even worse won't help. But it's important not to accidentally make home even more attractive. It may help not to allow TV, internet, mobile phone use during school hours. It can help to consider whether something needs to change. Any bullying or abuse needs to stop. Mental health difficulties need to be recognised and support provided. Even once issues have been addressed, just trying to make an autistic child go back into the same situation may not solve the problem. Some things about how school works might also need to change. Changes to the usual ways of doing things in school may be really helpful. It's also important to try to work together. If school seems unmanageable to an autistic young person, it's especially important that school and family work closely together to help them bridge that gap. Everyone may have to consider new ways of thinking. It can also help to teach resilience. Because school can be such a challenging environment for autistic young people, there needs to be a careful balance between helping them learn how to pick themselves up and cope with challenges, and protecting them. It helps to try to imagine the world from an autistic young person's point of view, but also to think about their future in the adult world. Is the challenge that they are finding hard at school actually something they will need to cope with in adult life? Or is it something that can best be adapted to make life a little easier for them now? So, a brief summary. One of the most important things to do to help an autistic child who is refusing school is to listen. You can offer different ways to listen, using text messages or symbols or drawing. It is important in most cases to make home boring and not too attractive to ensure that the young person doesn't have too much to interest them away from school. Consider whether something needs to change. Bullying and abuse should definitely stop, and mental health problems need to be addressed, but maybe changes could be made to the school environment which might help. It's important for home and school to try to work together. There needs to be give and take on both sides to ensure we help an autistic young person together. Finally, it's important to teach resilience and help young people learn to cope with the challenges they will face in adult life.